Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a video with the 6.5 Grendel Howa Mini that I have been wanting to do for a while. I haven't done it though because until now the 120 grain Speer gold dot that we're going to be using for today's test has not really been available online anywhere. Well, as of the recording of this video, this is in stock right now on Midway USA and Mid-South Shooter Supply. I got 200 more here from Mid-South Shooter Supply. These still come in boxes of 50 and they're about 20 bucks a box. The last time I bought these, they were around $14 a box, so they have gone up, but they're still a pretty decent value for a bonded bullet that performs really, really well in the 6.5 Grendel. If you're interested in 6.5 Grendel expansion tests, I don't have those on my channel, but check out, I think it's High Country Adventures on YouTube. He's got a lot of really interesting tests at like 400 yards with the Grendel, with both the 120 and the 140 grain Speer gold dots and a bunch of other bullets as well. So check out his channel if you haven't already. Anyway, this has been one of my favorite bullets. I did kill one deer with it several years ago now, and it seemed to shoot decent in the 6.5 Grendel AR. But since I have a bolt-action 6.5 Grendel now, I can crank this thing up a little bit hotter. And that's the goal for today. That is kind of the whole purpose for this rifle, is to get the most performance possible out of 6.5 Grendel in a 20-inch barrel. If we had a longer barrel, of course, we could get some higher velocities. But 20 inches is a really good length, especially for putting a suppressor on the end. In the one test group that I shot with the ammo that I had loaded for my AR, but in this rifle, it shot really, really well. I think I've got a full video on that on the channel, so go back and check that out. But we're going to do a dedicated load workup for the Howa Mini, and I may screw it up so it doesn't shoot as good a groups as that, but we're going to see how fast we can get this thing going. The powder for today is Hodgdon Lever Evolution. That seems to be the powder that's gotten me the best velocities in 6.5 Grendel with 120 grain bullets. So we're going to shoot that today. Before we get in too far, I should mention there's no data for what I'm doing today. So use this at your own risk, and after, of course, starting way, way low and working up slowly. The brass is once fired Starline, Remington 7.5 small rifle primers. I had been seating this bullet to 2.260, but this magazine is good and long. The bullet hits the rifling at about 2.372. So I'm going to seat 22 thousandths deeper to make it a nice round number of 2.350, and that's where we're going to shoot it. I haven't tested loading a bunch in the magazine yet, but I think it will work just fine. In fact, let's see right now. I'm going to put this thing on the middle position so the trigger's not active. Let's just stick 3 in the magazine and make sure they will go in at this length. Yeah, no problem at all there. The first thing I'm going to do is a pressure test because, again, there's no data for this. So I want to make sure that I'm starting way down at a safe charge and working up. So we're going to go from 30.5 grains to 32.6 in 3/10 increments. There's going to be, I'm going to shoot 3 shots, the ones I just loaded into the magazine, at 32 or 30.5 grains just to foul the barrel, and then we'll start the pressure test at like 30.8. I have cleaned this barrel today all the way down to bare metal, got all of the copper fouling out, and there wasn't really a lot. But got the barrel cleaned down to bare metal, patches are coming out clean, got everything nice and fresh because I could not remember how long it had been since I have cleaned this gun, and I put a whole bunch of rounds through it. So anyway, let's get out to the range and we'll shoot this pressure test. All right, in case you're new to the channel, the rifle is a Howa Mini in 6.5 Grendel. I've got a Vortex Diamondback HP 4-16x42 scope on the top and a Silencer Co. Scythe TI suppressor on the front there. The bottom metal is from Jefferson Outdoors. It's the hinged floor plate model, and I like that a whole lot better than the stock Howa magazine setup. We're going to load in a cartridge here, and we're going to foul the barrel and do kind of a pressure test, starting down here at 30.5 grains of Lever Evolution, and we'll work up from there. The rifle is currently sighted in for the 90 grain Hornady CX, and I'm gonna try, because I've got this ready for deer season, and deer season opens in 2 days, I'm gonna try not to adjust the scope if I can avoid it. All right, first shot at 24.74. That is a good start. That's already about the same velocity or a little bit faster than this bullet shoots in the AR, and no signs of pressure whatsoever. We'll see what the velocity does as it fouls in and as we go up the charge weights, but if I shot that bullet right there, that would be all I need. Okay, and I am gonna be able to make this work with the current 0. Ooh, that shot jumped up a bunch. 25.35. Brass still looks great, not the slightest sign. All right, I can't tell, but it looks like that's an itty bitty tiny group. I'm gonna go down there and check it, and yeah, then we will switch targets and shoot our pressure test. Sooty cases. Like this bolt action normally turns out clean cases, but these are really sooty, and I'm guessing that's because we're shooting at a lower pressure, probably not very efficient, probably not burning all the powder, but we're gonna get that pressure up there, don't worry. Yep, those 3 shots went into less than a ½ inch, so that's an excellent start. That gives me a lot of hope for what this load can do. Hopefully it still performs well at higher pressure, but we're about to find out. Well, not quite yet, we're just testing velocity. We will find out when we get to the groups anyway. This is 30.8 grains, and we will move up from there. I'm not gonna change the string on the chronograph. .1. Almost up to 2600. And brass is still looking great. If we're already that fast, I bet we stop before the top though. 31.4, and then I'll give it a second to cool before we shoot the next few. 26.15. Brass is still looking great. We'll do a 5-minute cool down. Well, so far those are all in the same hole. At least that's what it looks like through the scope. Okay, yeah, 5 minutes and the barrel's good and cool. We will continue on with 31.7 grains. You know what, I'm just gonna make sure I'm not putting any marks on the bullet. No, not at all. I measured the lands, I knew I was sitting off of it, but I just wanted to make sure. 26.30. That got a little bit of an ejector circle and starting to get primer crater back. Now I get primer craters a lot with this rifle, but I really haven't had them on the lower charge much. The lower charges. Yeah, just barely anything. So we're definitely running into a little higher pressure here. 32 grains. 26.48. We've been moving up about 15 feet per second per shot. All right, and nothing there for pressure signs. 32.3. Whoops, I had my hat too close there. 26.64. And that brass looks fine. And last shot at 32.6 grains. 27.08. And yeah, tiniest bit of primer flow, small ejector circle, no raised burr or anything. I am liking that a lot. Yeah, all right. The top 3 charges that I just shot, 32 grains, 32.3, and 32.6. I'm gonna go in and load up a 5-shot group with each one of those, and we will come back and shoot some group tests. All right, folks, let's shoot some groups. I'm gonna have to wait until the dust clears out. It's harvest time and there's trucks going all up and down my road. It's way busier than it normally is. So Forgive the noise and the dust. Oh, I'm gonna have to chase my dog off the range here. I thought about going a little bit lower just for brass life, but again, this is not a super high volume load. This is a hunting load. We're gonna do the bottom left target to start out there, and the shots will probably land around the area of the black box. First shot's 26-33. We'll see what we get for the group. I'm curious. I'm going to shoot one of these without plugs on, or without earmuffs on. That, I could shoot that all day without earplugs on and it wouldn't be that bad. I won't, but that is pleasant. This powder does seem to be super dirty. I've got a ton of soot around the mouth of the case. Shooting this pretty quick and the barrel's really not heating up. We're still gonna wait in between groups, but I'm not gonna worry too much about it. With the thick crosshair, my hold is not as precise as it could be on the center there, especially since the light's getting lower. Yeah, I'm having a hard time seeing the center of that target. Still, looks like a really, really good group. We got an average of 26-48, extreme spread of 38, and a standard deviation of 13. Not the greatest there, but not the worst either, and plenty good for a hunting load. And I am seeing, so I've got the tiniest bit of primer cratering, not as much as I have on a lot of other loads. No ejector circle whatsoever. Yeah, no, I really haven't gotten any at all. And that looks like a really good group. I am going to give the barrel a few minutes, although I wouldn't even have to. We're barely warm, but we'll go 5 minutes and then I'll shoot the next group. For just a little bit of context, the 32 grain charge is what I was shooting with the 120 grain Barnes TSX. And that was a hot load. We were getting a little bit of pressure sign there. But we are shooting faster and more accurately with this bullet. This is 32.3. Bottom center there. It was not a well executed shot. 26-54. And a little bit of an ejector circle, about like I had last time, I think. And within 10 feet per second of the velocity I had on the last one. Another great looking group. We got an average of 26-63, extreme spread of 29 feet per second, and a standard deviation of 12. So very similar to the last. Very similar to the last. And about 15 feet per second climb, which is right what we were expecting. I guess the extreme spread was 8 or 9 feet per second better. One more 5-minute break and we'll shoot the last group. There is a small wrinkle I should talk about. So I mentioned that I got new bullets, and 2 of the boxes that I had from before had a different label on them than the initial boxes I got. And I ran out 4 shots before the end of this test. So the next group will have 1 shot with the old lot and 4 shots with the new. Doing a little examination of the bullet, there are a few differences. The rebated boat tail is not quite as sharply defined on the new lot. And seated with the same seating dice settings, I'm getting about 10 thousandths longer measured cartridge base to ogive. So there are some changes to the bullet, and I really hope it is as accurate. I really hope it's as accurate in this rifle because this thing is shooting really well. But my next shot will be the last one that I have of that old lot. So I'm really hoping, really hoping. Now, if the next group doesn't shoot great, it could just be the fire charge weight, right? I'm going to have to throw another group with a new lot of bullets at whatever charge weight I pick and double check it, but fingers crossed. Anyway, we'll give a few minutes for cool down. Again, probably not necessary, but we'll give it a few and jump back into that last group. Time to shoot this last group, and this will be 32.6 grains of lever evolution. And bottom right. Again, the light is fading, and it is getting a little bit hard to see the center of that target through this cheap scope. This rifle deserves a decent piece of glass, and it will get one eventually. 26.95. Yeah, we've got a little bit of smear on that case. Not much. My follow-through wasn't great on that shot. Not sure if it affected anything or not. Yeah, my hold is not as consistent as it was, and I'm about to get covered in dust. Yep, I'm gonna have to wait for that dust to clear. Let's try this again. All right, that last shot did drop way lower the others. And velocity jumped up to 2712. The rest had been down under 2700. Still same little bits on the brass, nothing severe, but all right. So accuracy was pretty good on both of those first two groups. The speed on the slowest one was 26.48. That's plenty fast enough. And for the sake of better brass life, less pressure, and potentially being able to shoot this load all year long, regardless of the temperature conditions, I'm going to go with that 32 grain charge. I know it's safe a couple of steps above that, which is great, but I'm going to go with the 32 grains. Because we're shooting a new lot of bullets, and it frustrates me that there are differences in the new lot, but because we're shooting the new lot of bullets, I want to take a 5-shot confirmation group at the upper left-hand target there, and make sure it's shooting about the same speed and as good of accuracy as the first group. Especially because the last shot of that last group went like an inch outside of the group, and none of the other shots in the entire test had. So we're going to shoot 32 grains. I did make a small adjustment to the seating die to get the overall length the same. So we're back to an overall length of 2.350. I'm going to shoot this group, and hopefully, yeah, I do have a little bit less light. So if it's not perfect, I'll understand, but I just want to make sure there's no major anomalies. All right, we're at 26.30, right in the ballpark. And the more I shoot, the harder it is getting to see the center of that target, aiming for the circle part, not the square. All right, from what I can tell, it looks like a great group. We got an average of 26.20, an extreme spread of 14.5, and a standard deviation of 5.5. That is the best stats we've had on a group yet. Let me check that group, and we'll get back into the bench and wrap things up. Okay, so unfortunately, my memory card filled up and I lost the recording, I think, for most of this group. But my confirmation group there was a 0.76 inches. So not bad at all there, and I was having a hard time even finding the center. So not bad at all there. That same charge weight, 32 grain, shot 0.65. Just a little bit before that, about the same point of impact there. 4 of those going into, yeah, super tiny. Next charge up, shot about the same size group. The next charge up, I was having a little more trouble finding the center here. I don't know what the issue was, but it doesn't matter. We're not going this high anyway. All 5 of those opened up to 1.1. And this 0.69 inch group, yeah, that was 7 shots at all different charge weights. There was like a 200 foot per second extreme spread on that group. So this load is just plain going to shoot. I ended up going with the 32 grains, again, just to save brass life, to save a little pressure, 26.50 2615 to 2630 was the velocity area this was in, and that is plenty fast enough. I don't really need anything faster than that. Yeah, the 6.5 Creedmoor could push this bullet to probably 2900 or more, but 2600 to 2650 is a great area to be in for the Grendel. It's actually really fast for the Grendel, and I could not be more happy with those results. This gun, I'm never getting rid of this rifle. It is one of the most consistently accurate rifles I own, and I am absolutely thrilled with how it does. It's going to be tempting to take this load deer hunting this weekend, but I already have this 90 grain CX loaded up, and I'm really curious to see how it shoots, or to see how it performs on game. So I am going to be taking that, but I may have a few of this load as a backup because it's just so good. And looks like one MOA down and I'm going to be perfectly zeroed. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the old gold dots left to show you unless I pulled down some old ammo if I could find it. But there's the old box, there's the new box. Very clearly different lot numbers. Same item number and everything, just a little bit different packaging, and looks like the bullet looks just a little bit different, but it seems to still shoot super well, and yeah, I am really happy with that. This is going on my list of loads to load up a bunch of just to have on hand. I say a bunch, I mean like at least a box or 50 pieces of. Just to have on hand to know that if I need an accurate load that is hunting capable, this could be it. So anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a good one.